Why doesn't the narcissist disengage after the golden period? This is a common complaint by the victims of our kind. You've given us the golden period, and I understand, from your perspective, Mr. Narcissist or Miss Narcissist, that you don't think that I'm any good anymore. Well, if that's the case, why not just get rid of me at that point, rather than keeping me in place, rather than keeping hold of me, torturing me, devaluing me, being unpleasant to me, etc.? Why not just jettison me? Why not just disengage following the golden period? It's a valid question. The first and foremost reason for this occurring appertains, of course, to our needs. Invariably, the individual that suffers the worst devaluation through a sustained devaluation, and also the most glorious golden period, or its poorer cousin the bronze period, is the intimate partner primary source. It is those people who are given the heady days of the golden period, and therefore ask, so when it went wrong, why didn't you just get rid of me then? The reason is that if we were to do so, if we were to get rid of you, the intimate partner primary source, the moment that we deem your fuel to be stale, the moment that your fuel isn't being provided often enough or in as large enough quantities, or because you threaten our control in some substantial way, then we will be left with a significant problem. During your golden period, we're focused on you. We're not flirting with anybody else. We're not cultivating other prospects. If you had been in the race to become the intimate partner primary source alongside some other intimate partner secondary sources, they'll have been placed on the shelf. We might even occasionally interact with them, but purely in a friendly, non-intimate fashion. We're focused on you. We give you the golden period. We have no cause for complaint with you during that period of time. And therefore, there is no immediate replacement waiting in the wings. Accordingly, if the narcissist were to decide, instinctively where lesser or mid-range, or consciously where greater or the ultra, to get rid of you the moment that you failed to continue to provide us with fresh and exhilarating fuel, and the other reasons which trip devaluation, then we would be yanking out from our fuel matrix a significant provider of the prime aims. So, for instance, it would be akin to getting rid of all of the utility supplies to your house just because the broadband isn't working properly. The Wi-Fi rate has slowed. You still get water, you still get electricity, you still get gas, but because the internet is now faulty, you decide to rip everything out. Remember, the primary source caters to the prime aims of fuel and control, character traits, and residual benefits. And therefore, once your fuel becomes stale, if we were to get rid of you as the intimate partner primary source at that juncture, especially where this is a lesser or mid-range narcissist, the following problems would occur. A huge provider of fuel would disappear overnight, leaving an immense black hole, which means that the black hole within the narcissist would be felt unconsciously, but nevertheless causing significant problems. Lesser narcissists invariably gain 80 to 90% of their fuel from the primary source, mid-ranges somewhere between 70 to 90%. Greater and ultra around the 50 to 60% mark. And therefore, the lesser and mid-range narcissists would have substantial problems if they knocked their major fuel provider into touch, leaving a massive black hole and plunging them undoubtedly into a fuel crisis. Furthermore, they would lose a lot of character traits, which would then make it difficult for them to attract new people and keep existing individuals in the fuel matrix attracted to them. Thirdly, there would be the loss of residual benefits. And again, these are particularly pertinent for the lesser and mid-range narcissists. So there'd be nobody to do the laundry, to do the cooking, to do the cleaning, to earn an income, to provide shelter, to drive them around, to attend to medication, and so on and so forth. So if at the end of the golden period, the narcissist disengaged from the intimate partner primary source, the narcissist would in effect be signing their own death warrant, getting rid of a major provider of fuel, relinquishing control over that individual by asserting control through disengagement, by creating a problem by the loss of so many character traits, meaning the onward attraction and ongoing attraction of people to and in the fuel matrix would be compromised and residual benefits would be lost. This is a massive problem for the narcissist. It's less pressing for the greater and the ultra because we don't have as much reliance upon the primary source, but they're still important, and that's why we have them. We could, of course, jettison them and function without too great a difficulty until a replacement was found. But that would be more than a minor inconvenience, and we wouldn't want to be slowed down by that. Accordingly, the need to replace you only starts at the point of the golden period ending. There is no ready replacement waiting, and therefore the narcissist needs to cultivate a replacement after the end of the golden period rather than getting rid of you as the primary source. The affairs start, the trysts occur, the cheating commences. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, that that individual will necessarily become the primary source, and if they do not, unless there is a different reason for disengagement, the primary source is retained, but they're devalued. The main reason why the narcissist does not disengage from the intimate partner primary source at the end of the golden period is because to do so would be contrary to the interests of the narcissist by getting rid of a major provider of the prime aims, with no immediate replacement. Instead, the narcissist waits instinctively where lesser or mid-range, consciously where greater or the ultra, until such time as the replacement is ready, and segues seamlessly so that you, the devalued and now malfunctioning, in our view, intimate partner primary source, is thrown on the scrap heap, and we plug in and play instantly your replacement. There is a seamless transition in the provision of fuel. There is no reduction. There is no loss with regard to the provision of the fuel. There is no detrimental impact with regard to the provision of character traits and residual benefits. And in those circumstances, this is why the primary source is not jettisoned from as a consequence of the end of the golden period. There are also other applicable factors. The other factor as to why we do not get rid of you at the end of the golden period is partially a sense of ownership. We want to extract more from you, again instinctively where lesser or mid-range and consciously where greater or ultra. But also there is the necessity of punishment. You have let us down. You were meant to be the one. You were meant to provide us with beautiful, potent, never-ending positive fuel. Gallon upon gallon of it. Repeated, frequent, intensive. And you failed. And therefore, from our perspective, you must be punished. If we were to let you wriggle off the huck and disengage from you at that early juncture following the golden period, you've not been punished. And therefore, another reason why we retain you and subject you to the devaluation, the sustained devaluation when you are the intimate partner primary source, is because it is necessary for us to either instinctively or consciously punish you for your treachery, your failure, your abhorrent behaviour towards us. And therefore, whilst it may seem to you eminently appropriate that, whilst you don't see that you failed, if you can understand and get your head around the narcissistic perspective to understand, well, I don't accept it, but from the narcissist perspective, he thought he'd failed me. Why not just get rid of me at that point? We cannot. 1, we have to ensure that the prime aims continue to be catered for so that there isn't a huge hole that is created in the provision of the prime aims. And secondly, it is about the necessity of punishing you for your transgressions. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.